Welcome to Reclaiming Timeless Ways, up close and personal. New camera angle today, Mike, in our next several series of shows. We're really going to show off our beauty, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And episode 87.
You can't believe how long it takes to comb that right.
Every time we kind of get together and redo a cluster of shows, it's like, holy cow, what number are we on? 87 is where we kick off this session.
Yes.
And our topic, we are not food, is what you're telling me. And I'm like, what does Mike mean by this? Please indulge me and the audience.
Okay. So you get a crisis of some sort, or a non-crisis like the COVID bullshit. And
He's starting off right after it. I love it, Mike.
And all of a sudden, ships are coming in slower.
Yeah.
Where are the ships? Well, I had this amazing conversation with somebody one day. He was a commercial fisherman. And you know what he said to me? He said he was out on the West Coast and you could see for miles cargo ships parked offshore being kept from removing and delivering their material. So there's a lack of supply which raises price.
Right.
And that makes people desperate, and when people are desperate, they allow themselves to be bullied by the people. The bullies become the rescuers.
Sure.
Which is the plan.
Right.
Right? So so now you ask yourself, okay, so now this is government and industry working together. So what are we? Food.
Yeah.
Do you want to be food? Do you want your children to be raised to say, what can I do? It's the insurance industry. What can I do? It's medicine. What can I do? It's a crooked cop.
Yeah.
What can I do? It's a corrupt prosecuting attorney.
Right.
And each one of those takes a bite out of you.
Yeah.
One way or another. Somebody gets hurt at work and the company defrauds them with the legitimate claim. They fall down because somebody left wax on the floor, right?
Right.
So immediately, before they get a chance to picture it, because take a picture of it because they're hurting. So they're sitting in a chair, maybe they broke a bone in their back, right? They hurt themselves. The janitor gets sent in there and handed $1,000. This didn't happen. Clean it. So it never happened. Now, I don't want to ever speak about this again. Your food, right? Because because somewhere in the management of all the money in that company, right, that hospital, let's say, there's a percentage for janitorial services. There's a percentage for insurance, right? So when something happens like that, you don't want your rates to go up, so you cover it up. That's called criminal fraud, right? So you got a neighbor and your neighbor is out of control. They hurt your kid or your animal or they damage your property multiple times. And they get processed in and out of the back of a police car. And they go to jail once for a while, but not for very long because the system is fucked up. And you think, what the hell is going on here? Well, somebody has got this Disneyland idea that if you sit them on their lap and pet them on the head and coddle them and read them a bedtime story, they're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. They're getting paid. The cops are getting paid. You're getting damaged. The damage you report to the insurance company, they just changed their policy so your deductible is tripled, so you don't get help. You don't get help from the cops, from the prosecuting attorney, from the insurance company, and you've got this monster next door to you, and you are suspect. If something happens to that person, they're going to come knocking on your door. Now you're the bad guy, even if you didn't hurt them, right? You go to the hospital and you're sick, you're tired, and you're afraid, and you get billed thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for garbage, for absolute garbage. Mm-hmm. It's like, every time this happens, it's like one of the digits on your finger is being nipped off by a large fish. So snip. I still got 95% of my hand. A year later, snip. I got 90%. Up, snip, 87%. It could be worse. And you keep rationalizing this because these people are intimidating. What happens when you don't fight back? They get stronger.
Right.
You get weaker, and everybody does this. What can I do? If you say you can do nothing, you're right. And if you say you can do something, you're right. You know?
And make no mistake, doing nothing is doing something.
It is, absolutely. You're sending this guy a reward,
Right.
whoever it is and whatever they're doing.
You know, in a simplistic way, because, you know, as you're telling me these stories, there's probably folks listening who have had something like that happen, whether it's on that level of scale or on some level.
Right.
We've all been wronged by somebody that is in a bigger position of power, let's just say.
Right.
And it's kind of like parenting, you know, if you were to dial it back, it's, if I tell my kid,
My
because
poor
I've got
baby.
2 little kids that
Right.
still need a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
Say, clean your room or you're gonna lose television for a day, a week,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And if I don't follow through with that, what
Right.
just happened, Mike?
You taught them to not take you seriously.
Right, yeah,
All I have to do is wait the old fool out, and I'm gonna pitch a fit, and somebody's gonna come along and pressure him and make him feel like a rat, and I'm gonna get what I want.
some way, shape, or form is, you're doing the same thing when you don't stand up to somebody, when you know you're being
Exactly.
wronged, and you've gotta know it, I mean, that's an important key, and
So-
things happen, so what do we do, Mike? What
Well,
do you
this
suggest?
this is what I believe. I believe that when people are overtly corrupt, not incompetent or ignorant or tired, but overtly corrupt, they should be prosecuted. And I don't care if it's a doctor or a cop or a prosecuting attorney or a psychologist or a teacher or the head of the psych department in a school system. When they're abusing their power and harming people and attenuating other people's power over them, their rightful power over themselves, they should be taken through the court system, either civilly or criminally or both. And when we finally get a CFO of an insurance company thrown in the slammer for a month or 6 months, right? Or get their pay docked radically, right? Or a prosecuting attorney who's an incompetent swine thrown in jail for obstruction of justice, things will change.
Yeah,
You know, because people will go, oh shit, did you hear about Harry? Hey, Harry's untouchable. He was.
yeah.
So that's that one.
You're saying stand up if you've been
And
wronged.
research.
And it won't be easy, Mike. Here's the thing. You know, people are watching this episode, they're still saying, okay, this is happening to me, Mike.
Right.
I'm still scared because
Right.
guess what? If I do that, it's probably not gonna be easy.
It won't be
There's going to be
easy.
some repercussions on me somehow.
Could be, yeah. You might get stopped every 6 days for the next 6 months by a cop for a broken tail light
Right.
that may or may not be broken. Wink, wink. Right. So one thing you can do is you get a hold of the director of a legal department in a law school and talk to them
Yeah.
and say, who do I deal with? I know I can't go to an attorney in my own town because they don't want to piss their own off. But you can go 20, 30 miles away and you can get some representation.
I
to
just
help.
think in the age of technology too, Mike, you know, so much more, technology can be very destructive, but it can also be helpful. You know, once upon a time, someone who didn't have a voice, you and I, wait a second, it's pretty easy to get some
Right.
proof.
Right.
You know, it used to be my word against this bigwig's word.
When
Guess
I-
what? There's cameras, there's recorders, there's
Well,
phones, there's a
yeah.
lot of ways to protect yourself, so
Right,
keep
there
that
is.
in mind.
Yeah. When I got hurt, I had a very hard time finding an attorney. I found a bunch of these just swaggering morons that were wearing $1,000 three-piece suits and telling the whole world, look, I own the whole phone book. See? Page, I'm great. So they were overbooked and they weren't properly representing anyone. So I did. I called up a law firm 50, 100 miles from my house, and I said, here's what happened to me. Can you help me find somebody? And the guy goes, there's this gal, she's plain spoken, she doesn't dress fancy, She doesn't act or speak like a lawyer. She's smart as a whip, and I think she's gonna help you, and she did. But I had to have the gumption to call him up at that school. He was like the director of the law school or one of the departments, and he helped me. The other thing, and this is another resource, is every single state, and I could name a few and say, yeah, even those states, right? I was going to make fun of Arkansas for some reason, but every state has a state research library. And in those research libraries are research librarians, and they live to help people find things out.
Yeah. And
you can get them on an 800 line. It's not going to cost you anything to call other than your time. Right. You say, hey, this is my problem. So you have to just describe your problem succinctly. How do I find somebody who can help me with this?
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's tiring. Because it's tiring, we go, fuck it. It's going to take too much energy. They're only going to say no. And we get into this whole monologue in our head where we get beat up before the fight even starts. Yeah. And I would say that's why we lose half of our struggles, is we beat ourselves up. We don't even wait for the other guy to mug us. We do our own mugging.
I've told my kids that too. Again, I go back to this parenting when they are struggling with a sporting event or a spelling word, getting ready for it.
Right.
And they get frustrated. We get frustrated, right? Same thing. You're going through this battle and you're working and you're just not getting it. It's getting frustrating. Mm-hmm. Back my daughter the other day. I can't hit the softball. I can't hit the softball. Well, she's an incredibly good hitter, good swinger. She's going against young girls that maybe aren't as great at pitching, and she's not timing things. Anyway, there's some little things she can tweak. If you tell yourself you can't, you can't.
Right.
Period. You've beaten yourself up before you step up to the plate, so to speak.
Actually, I think Casey Stengel was one of the people that talked about that in his own little gibberish kind of philosophical poetry.
Yeah.
He was a funny guy, but he was smart, you know. So that's that. That's that whole subject. Right. You are not food.
All right.
Don't put yourself on the plate.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of Reclaiming Timeless Ways. Have a great day.